Now, as Nigerians witness the start of what could turn out to be the most historic of proceedings challenging the results of the 2023 presidential election, we begin the process of bearing witness to that history, which started today at the Appeals Court in Abuja. That's where the Election Tribunal has begun hearing petitions by several opposition candidates seeking to annul Bola Tinubu's victory in February's ballot. Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar are challenging the outcome on several grounds, including the fact that the Electoral Commission, INEC, failed to upload the result on its viewing portal iRev in real time. They allege that this was in breach of the law. But INEC says the final result reflected the will of the electorate and results delays were caused by technical problems. So as the court processes start to take their course, could this landmark legal challenge shift the political landscape? Or does it have the rather familiar ring of yet another disputed Nigerian presidential election ending up in court and coming to nothing? Well, in a moment, I'll be joined in the studio by the lawyer and former Director of Legal Services and Voter Education at the Electoral Commission, INEC, Osaze Uzi Oluwole. But first, let's bring in Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshiemoghie, who was at the opening session of the tribunal in Abuja. Godfrey, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Briefly tell us what happened at the tribunal today. We understand that it was essentially a pre-hearing session defining the parameters of the proceedings going forward, and there was a motion for withdrawal by the Action Alliance.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. Of course, the pre-hearing is more like setting the foundation for what is to come subsequently. This is where they spell out the number of witnesses to be brought during the hearing of the petition in the course of the proceedings. They bring out, they spell out the exhibits to be, brought by the parties involved in the petition hearing, petition proceedings. And these are the items that will, of course, spell out the parameters of, and then the basis, and then the limits, or that the parties can go in respect to timing. Of course, there's a time frame. So this petition hearing, these proceedings are time bound. So the lawyers, the counsels are told the period of time within which to, cross-examine their witnesses and all that. So this is more like setting the foundation for what is to come. And then, of course, today, like you stated, Action Alliance had to withdraw their petition. You know, their matter had been more like an internal affair. Is a more like a pre-election matter, and of course they had to sort themselves out, and so they had no basis to continue with it, and such they had to withdraw it today, and then subsequently resulting in the petition being struck out. So that is the outlook of what transpired today. Of course, these petitions, there are 4 other petitions that are still pending before the petition court, election petition court. Those of the People's Democratic Party and Atiku Abubakar, and that of the Labour Party and its candidate Peter Obi, and then that of the Allied People's Movement, and then the Action People's Party. Of course, today, the timeline, the timetable, which was drawn out by the 5-member election petition panel, had those of the Labour Party and the Action People's Party, whereas tomorrow we will have those of the PDP and the Allied People's Movement, most likely. But then that of the Labour Party and Action People's Party was adjourned till Wednesday for continuation of the pre-hearing process. Of course, that is when we could then know where all the parties, as respect to the actual actual petition hearing, will be well spelled out. So that was what transpired in court today in summary. Yes.
Well, thank you very much indeed for setting that out. And can you, Godfrey, give us a sense of, or tell us something about the identity of the members of the tribunal panel? Because, I mean, it's only become public today with the start of these proceedings.
Well, for the personality of the chairman, of course, he is well known. He's a presiding judge of the Abuja division of the Appeal Court, Haruna Samani by name. So others are still more like unknown quantities in my view. So Haruna Samani has been in the front burners of recent cases, you know, in the Appeal Court. Particular case of reference is the decision of the Appeal Court staying execution of the decision of the Appeal Court itself, asking that Nnamdi Kanu be released, you know, after the remaining 7-count charge against him were struck out. He was the judge who said they should stay execution of that particular order of the court until the petition, the case pending at the Supreme Court is determined. So other than that, he is not. He's been prominent in many other cases, but that is one case that he has heard of recent that will readily come to mind. So if you want to refer to his precedents, of course, he's a good jurist, and he is one of those jurists who is thorough in his function as it is, and he spelled out his no-nonsense or zero tolerance to frivolities when he told the parties in the current election petition trial, petition hearing, that he will not, and his panel rather, will not accommodate any form of technicalities in the course of hearing of the petitions of the parties in the presidential election petition. So we are going to have a very serious case, a very serious hearing on hand because of the chairman, the pedigree of the chairman of the petition court. So we're going to have a case where we're going to have not business as usual as it is, because the person there has a pedigree, has the requisite capacity to do a thorough job, as he has promised that all parties will be given fair hearing, and to ensure that nobody will have a ground to say, none of them will have a ground to say they were treated unfairly.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people would be gladdened by that last thing that you said there. But how long is it going to take before judgment is delivered? I'm assuming that since the parties all filed differently, the decision will also be different.
No, the decisions are going to be filed. The decisions are going to be made on the same day. Of course, the pre-hearing is to set the record straight, to cross the T's and dot the I's, if you may, so that there won't be issues when the proceedings commence. So now is the time to dot all the sort out all the gray areas, so that once the proceedings start, there will be no issues with regards to you know, documentation or not doing it properly, clerical errors and all that. So now is the time. Pre-hearing affords the court the opportunity to sort out all these differences. So the hearing, the decision, the judgment is going to be delivered in less than about 3 months or so, because already 180 days are stipulated for hearing of election petition cases, and already 3 months elapsed, because recall the decision, the announcement by INEC of the president-elect was on March the 1st. So counting from then, so 3 months have elapsed already. So the petition tribunal, the petition court, has 3 months to hear these petitions and deliver its decision. And of course, so that is why it spelled out the timeline before all the parties involved in this suit, so that they could put into consideration the short time it has to deliver a decision on time within this time frame. That's 3 months left. That's 90 days. 180 days, 90 days already far spent. So remaining 90 days within which the petition court has to complete its assignment.
Godfrey, I want to thank you very much indeed for your coverage, and you've had a long day, so you deserve a drink and a kip. Godfrey Eshiemoghie is Arise correspondent, and he's the one who's been covering the start of the proceedings of the Presidential Election Tribunal.